What a beautiful space. I mean, seeing all the names popping up on my screen. What is it that I feel in my heart? I think I feel fulfilled and purposeful. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with you all. And I hope that this mini workshop that we're going to co-create together will create some positive impact and add some value into your business as well. Yesterday, Nicola and I exchanged some emails, and when she talked about the registration number, my heart stopped beating for a second. I gotta admit that. I was like, okay, how are we going to ensure that this workshop, mini workshop, is engaging and interacting? And, you know, how can I assure that we can co-create together a safe learning and reflective place? And then I caught up to the inner chatter in my mind, and it's the voice of an old friend enemy in a way, that the performance pressure, and I chose trust and lean in and trust the process, trust the space, trust the EMCC, and trust myself as well. So welcome everyone, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It seems like we have a mini UN gathering here. So it's lovely to connect with you. And as I was also reflecting the registration numbers yesterday, and I came to a realization that there is an uncatered need state amongst us. Like as coaches, we're still battling with the same kind of hurdle in a way that gets in our way of establishing a successful business. And what a great opportunity to tackle, actually. Every challenge that I see from my perspective is an opportunity. So hopefully we can support each other, we can tap into each other's learnings here and experience here. There's so much wisdom in this room, and I trust your resourcefulness as well. So to me, personal branding all starts with having clarity on who am I, because who am I is how I coach. Who am I is all about how I lead my life. And so I call myself a dream catcher, and I believe that everyone is a dream catcher. Once we remove those dream blockers from our path, there's nothing that holds us back from achieving our goals. So once the path is clear and we have a clear direction, we can achieve anything that we want. I'm very much interested in earth teachings. In other words, you know, those circle gatherings, and working with those wisdom keepers keep me grounded and help me grow. If I'm to give a tree metaphor, most likely not only branch out, but also strengthens my roots. I spent 20 years in the marketing world, and so I used to be specialized in Marcom, marketing communications. I've been on the client side and agency side, and that helped me a lot. That experience helped me a lot when I was establishing my business back in 2013. I'm a fan of a salad bar. What it means to me is I'm Turkish, but I've been living in the UAE and Dubai for the last 19 years, so I'm an expat. And one of the things that amazes me in the country that I live is this multicultural environment. It enriches me, seeing different traditions, backgrounds, colors. It's all gives different layers, helps me grow in life. So instead of being in a culture of a melting pot, I always value a culture of a salad bar in a way. So diversity and coexistence, these are very important kind of values for me. I'm married. Me and my husband, we don't have a child together, but we have a dog together. So I'm one of those crazy dog moms. And perhaps it's something that I need therapy for, because it's becoming out of control. So wherever I go, she goes. And I'm very passionate about unlocking potential in others, be it on an individual level or an organizational level. And that passion made me leave my corporate, experience, my corporate world behind, our job behind, to support those who are in the corporate world. And in everything that I do, I try to be creative. Empowerment is very important to me. I'm quite intuitive, but also analytical and challenging. So there's always this balance that I try to strike between support and challenge. I mean, Nicola was kind enough to talk about some of the roles that I have in life in the business world. This may seem kind of a repetition, but the reason behind that I put them here is all about actually related to today's topic, personal branding. Because in the other roles that I have in this business, I continue coming across this challenge when I work with coaches, either as a trainer, as a mentor, or a supervisor, coach supervisor. Establishing a unique brand and building a successful business seemed to be a challenge for us. And hence, I felt like it might help to put it in place as well, share it here as well. So, I mean, I would love to hear from you too. I don't want to create a one-way conversation here. And you already shared where you are coming from, joining from, your names as well. But if you are to reflect on your brand when it's at its best, I'm wondering what might be an image, a metaphor, or a color that could describe it from your perspective. Also, I believe that it may help us to set an intention for today as well. So what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're aiming to get out of today's session? So what might be the best description of your brand when it's at its best, and your intention for today? And for that, please feel free to use the chat box. So let's hear what you have in your mind. A butterfly. Chris says butterfly. Ailish says sunshine. Newborn baby. Trust. A lotus flower. An elephant. Oops. It's hard to keep up. Wow. Taxi. Crossroads. That's wonderful. And also, if you could calm library, and if you could also kindly share what is it that you want to get out of today's session, that will be awesome. Brian Iceberg, David says, endless horizon. Drop of water, creating a ripple effect, looking for inspiration. Thanks, Jenny. Claude is looking for an opportunity to update his brand identity. Strengthening my brand, collaboration, thoughts and ideas, how to differentiate my coaching offer from others. Meditations, the clarity, enriching knowledge in coaching. A irresistible slogan. Colorful mosaic. My business is called Tesla Development. Intention, refine my brand identity and understand how to integrate. Thank you all. Wow. Accreditation, is this important? We're going to have also, today we're going to have, as Nicola said, breakout room exercises. There will be 2 opportunities to connect with others, and perhaps some of the questions can be addressed there as well. Thanks for sharing. And we're making a note of all. So I'm going to keep these in mind as we're going through our mini workshop. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to talk about the personal branding mindset and definition of personal branding, Simon Sinek's Golden Circle model, and another model that's called Brand House model that is widely used in the branding world. and communications. We're going to talk about a strategic tool that is called unique value proposition, and there will be an opportunity for self-reflection. We're going to talk about a LMark concept and touch upon visibility. We're going to work on your channel strategy in a pair activity, talk about the networking strategy, and talk about the networking tree as well. And there will be another opportunity for pair activity. And we're going to, if we still have time, we're going to have Q&A and then network together. Nicole is going to create multiple rooms for us with different teams, and then I will be also, hopping on and joining from one room to another to join you in these conversations. So let me pause here and, go back to your own wisdom and ask a question about, from your perspective, what makes a coach successful? What are the thoughts that come to your mind? You can unmute yourselves. You can use the chat box again. Happy client, indeed. Delivering outcomes that are sustaining. That's it. Listening intently, curiosity, listening skills, visibility, authenticity, impact, compassion, curiosity. Moving forward, taking action to develop our business. Presence, curiosity, influence, maturity, support and challenge. There's another person like me in the room, similar to me, trustworthy brand, empathy, combination of experience, education, and personal style. When the right client knows to find you, so when you are able to communicate the right message to the right client, gain trust, clarity of client's goals, facilitation of goals, ability to create a safe space, authenticity, curiosity, honesty, providing a calm and safe space for clients, seeing clients overcome the hurdles, being fully present, and great rapport. Thanks for sharing. Yes, indeed. I mean, looking at what you're offering here, I'm noticing that some of them are about the competencies that we have as coaches, and some of them are related to the soft skills that we have as coaches. And so on that note, most likely the next slide that I'm going to share with you will be capturing already what you shared. I mean, from my perspective, this is my humble opinion. Purposefulness is very important. It's one of the very first things that we need to be aware of. The reason why, so why we do what we do, and the inner drive and motivation. We are in a business that where most of us are solopreneurs, and sometimes it creates isolation and we feel lonely. So it's important for us to continue finding that inner drive and motivation within us. Communication skills are very important, and believing in what we do, believing in what we offer, and most importantly, believing in who we are. And competency and skill set, of course, and continuous learning, continuous development, and investing in ourselves. And proactivity, how often we step out of our comfort zones to become visible, to engage with others. Courage, and part of courage is about also taking risks and being intuitive. Yes, we work with facts at times, we're logical, we're rational in business, but it's not enough. How often we tap into that inner knowing that we have. Our attributes, our values, our strengths, these are all our differentiators. The level of emotional intelligence that we have, from my perspective, also enables us to become successful in this business. And gravitas, how much gravitas that we have within our presence. Do we have a strategic mindset? And I mean, most of us follow a call, perhaps when we enter this business. And it is a business. At the end of the day, it's a human-centric, purposeful business, but it requires a strategic mindset. We need to be resilient, given that, yes, we might be part of organizations, we might work as an associate with organizations, we may collaborate with organizations, yet most of us runs their own individual business, and how credible we are, how persuasive we are. And that is also aligned with, most likely, again, this is that there might be a bias where I'm coming from, most likely, that also the credentials that we have, the accreditations that we have also contribute into our credibility, and how much we're, again, networking and becoming part of circles. Those circles, creating circles enables us to create our support system. And to survive in this business, we need to co-create and co-lead and collaborate with others, from my perspective. So, and then what gets in our way? So we know what we need to do often, but sometimes we struggle. And the very first thing often that gets in our way is our mindset, not having the right mindset for the business. As said, we showed up for a calling, we stood up for a calling, yet at times when we entered this business, we didn't see it, we didn't treat it as business. And there might be also back then, but maybe there was lack of awareness about who we are, what we stand for as well. So that creates a dilemma. So there is passion, there is drive, yet there's kind of feeling shy about talking about what we are, what is it there for us to offer. And there our values get in the way. So if you are to imagine your value set, some of the values start taking so much breathing space, like humbleness, like modesty, and then may lead to us playing small in this business and not being vocal enough, not being visible enough. So that's perhaps the first challenge that we face. They're not having the right mindset. Also, not having clear differentiation. More or less, we all have kind of similar accreditations. We are part of similar, accreditation bodies. And there's an opportunity for us to pause and wonder whether or not it's enough for us to create a clear differentiation for our brand and for what we stand for and who we are. So another part is understanding our clients. Most of the brand identities are attractive to us. This is what studies show. So as coaches, we design our brands and our brand identity, all those visual cues, often by kind of reflecting or projecting who we are. Yet there are just a few of us also keep in mind our target audience, our potential clients, and what they need, what will resonate to them. So understanding our clients' also pain points and needs help us to, integrate, create an integrated communications for our brand as well. And planning. Often are either, again, according to the studies, from a branding perspective or brand communications perspective, most of our actions or initiatives are kind of ad hoc or need basis and not consistent enough. So how clear we are in our brand strategy and how that brand strategy is constantly applied and implemented makes a big difference in a way. So we're talking about the mindset. To me, yes, these all are 4 pillars, but these 3 pillars are actually processed in the very first one, in the mindset. And this requires a branding mindset. So what do we do? What do we mean by a branding mindset? Branding mindset is an experience. It's just a brand is an experience itself. So our own story as a person matters and weaves our business. So that's why I aim to start today by introducing myself with my own words, because it's part of my own story, and I believe that it builds rapport and trust in a way, so that you can see me in different ways besides the credentials that I have in life. So our brand is not only the face of our business, but more importantly, the heart of our business. So our brand is more than a visual identity, and often we fall into this trap. So branding is all about the visual cues and the tone of voice that we use in our communication. So when our clients encounter our brand, those visual identity often is perceived as our brand. Yet, yes, it's the face of the brand, but not the heart of the brand. The story that we have again, and our understanding of our clients makes a difference, and it can be incorporated in our brand communication in a way. And effective communication is important, and it needs to be consistent. And it's a clear differentiation for us as well. There are so many, well-trained, experienced, and skillful coaches here, but we all are different from each other. So how am I going to communicate effectively? Who am I? Makes a difference. And branding is a tool, and it's a critical tool and a competitive tool that we have in our hands. Another point is that creating a personal brand helps us humanize our business. This is a human-centric and purposeful business. So they will get to put a face to our business, a name. And it's not, again, it's beyond the visual cues. So connecting with our target audience on a mental level, on an emotional level, sometimes on a physical level and creative level, helps us humanize our brand. It needs to be present online and offline, and at the same time, it should focus on our clients, not only who we are and what we offer. Often we seem to be forgetting about this. We might be life coaches, we might be career coaches, we might be executive coaches. Is it an enough differentiation for us to stand out in this field? Does it really indicate anything about a type of clients that we work with when we only call ourselves as executive or career or leadership coaches? So as I am a leadership coach, who am I working with will have an impact on the communication style that I create. And it will also keep my efforts targeted. Often it feels like a whole universe that we need to target. And if we don't stand for something, we fall for anything. So I don't want to use a word like a cliche word like niche. Yes, having a niche is quite important, but understanding our clients and defining who is the ideal client for us creates that niche as well. And as said, sometimes we get disheartened in this process. It can be discouraging. So it becomes hard to keep up the momentum going, but it's important to do so. And adopting a branding mindset is essential. And a brand mindset is, in other words, is a growth mindset that urges us and encourages us to step out of our comfort zones. So we've been talking about branding and personal branding. Just a summary of what I already shared. Personal branding is the process of defining and promoting what we stand for as an individual. And our brand is a culmination of our experiences, skills, and values that differentiate us from others. So before I move forward, I would love to pause and just check in whether or not you might have any questions so far.
It was just a quick question, really, because I think all that you've shared is really powerful, important, impactful, but it's the doing of it that's really challenging, isn't it? And it's really hard sometimes to describe yourself as opposed to describing others in what you see. So I'll be interested as we go through the session to kind of pick up any tips how we really keep that focus and keep that live, and how we do that for ourselves and for others. That was really my reflection. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. I will be sharing some tools with you. I mean, keeping in mind that we have literally 1.5 hours together today, we may not be able to go deep to crack all these aspects of your brand. But my invitation to you, first of all, this session, as you know, is being recorded. So you're going to receive the recording. You may like to go back to the recording. Also, another invitation that I have is I will be sharing with you some tools for your own use as well. So please go back to those tools on your own time and reflect on those models. Most likely they will also guide you. Would that answer your question, Andrea? I see you nodding.
Thank you, yes.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes, Matthew.
Yeah, and thank you all. My question is that I'm a consultant, advisor, and also mentor, and also the coach for executives, for the family business owners, and some others. And so there are some complications in branding myself, since all in one sometimes makes some complications to define the ideal client. What will be your advice in that case?
Sure. Shall we park that question for our Q&A? Aykut, will that be okay?
Okay.
So that perhaps we can have an in-depth conversation in our Q&A, or wherever you are in the, during the network event, I will hope and join you, and we can have a conversation there as well.
Okay.
Sometimes roles create a kind of role nausea, and then we are confused to create a differentiation. Thanks for the question. So I will continue if that's okay for you. Pretty sure most of you are already aware with this model, Simon Sinek's golden circle model. And the question that he ponders on is, why do we do what we do, in a way? And in his book, what he talks about is that often when it comes to communicating what we do, it's easier for us to start with the clearest thing than the fuzziest thing. And the clearest thing to communicate is the what we offer. And then we focus on how we offer that. So next is how. Then we move to the why. Yet most of the decisions in our field is not often based on facts. So what is all about the facts and figures and so on and so forth. Yet we were in our business, often decisions are made emotionally as well. So they need to connect. Our clients also need to connect with us. They need to feel us, they need to sense us, and they need to understand who we are. And that's why instead of having when we are working our brand strategy, instead of starting with what, in other words, outside in approach, we need to start off with inside out approach and focus on the what, why. And in his book, he talks about a great case study, an Apple's case study, when the brand was being established and prior to its launch, the strategy that Apple put in place. And they all started with why. And when they defined their why, they came to an understanding that what they stand for is all about believing in challenging the status quo and thinking differently. And then that led to defining their how by making their products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. And it led to defining their actually products, the what, by making great computers. And as they planned, actually they challenge the status quo and they shake off the business. And then created a brand that managed to connect with its target audience and consumers on an emotional level as well. So, so the brand because the brand attributes were clearly communicated to the consumer. Another tool that I would like to share with you is, here is the brand house model. There are some other models similar to this, like the brand spiral and so on, and as you look at this model, and please feel free to take a screenshot of this to be able to use moving forward as you're continue working on your brand strategy. It all starts with the purpose. So defining why you do what you do, what is your passion, and what is the impact that you want to create in this business. And next is the brand essence. And the brand essence is about the principle that informs everything that you do. In other words, it's your brand idea. It's your North Star, if I am to give a metaphor to it. It's kind of a guiding principle that combines your brand's core characteristics, as you see on the left-hand side, and that elicits kind of an emotional response in our clients. So then it breaks down into multiple sections. So as you notice, we start off why, then there's the who at the bottom. So the understanding our target audience. Who am I targeting? And so it might be multiple circles, like repealing circles as well, when we look at our target audience, but we need to define the bullseye. So primarily, who am I targeting? And I need to understand their world. I need to understand what they want. I need to understand their need states and the trends and their lifestyle and the challenges that they are facing. So insights are very important as well. And then coming to the what. So the brand characteristics. So what are the values that this brand is fully embracing? Because it's going to be kind of incorporated into the brand communication that I will use to connect with my target audience. And the archetype, if this brand was an archetype, you know, this goes back to Carl Jung's archetypes. So there are 12 big archetypes, and in all successful brands, when you look in the world, they actually fall in under an archetype. So is this brand is a creator, a sage? I don't know. Is it a challenger? It's an innocent in terms of its, you know, tonality, look and feel, and tone of voice. Is it a ruler? Is it a hero? So again, we are kind of funneling down and really identifying our brand's differentiators by doing so. And then the executional equities, they are quite important as well. And the color and the logo, the icon, the slogan, or the tagline that I will use, and the feeling and ambience that I will create for my clients when they interact and engage with my brand. And as shared in the beginning of our conversation, often these attributes, you know, equities are defined based on our own interests. So what is attractive to me in terms of colors, in terms of a logo, doesn't mean or not necessarily is targeting my target audience. So there needs to be a link between who I am and what my business is all about and my target audience. And then the brand letter and the emotional benefits and experiential benefits and functional benefits. In the brand letter, my brand needs to create this, and I need to clearly define these in advance. And then this work on my strategy based on, or communication strategy based on this. And the world is the playing field, and the world becomes smaller and more virtual every day. And so, yes, it's the whole universe, but within that, exactly where I want my brand to stand out. Once I define that, it enables the brand to in a way to cut the clutter and stand and then stand out. So what is next is another strategic tool that we called as unique value proposition. In other words, unique selling proposition. So what it means is basically it's a clear statement that describes the benefit our brand offers, and also how we solve our clients' needs. And what really I'm using marketing terms here, so it may sound in a way a little aggressive in terms of, in terms of tools, competition and so on and so forth. But so bear with me. So what distinguishes us from our competition and other colleagues as well? And what are our values and how, and what is the foundation of who we are and foundation of our brand, and our strengths also creates a competitive advantage for us. And then another thing that we need to define is how consistently we communicate this unique value proposition. We all have a different added value in this business. We all are unique in our own ways. But unless it's well defined and is well communicated, then it gets lost in the clutter. So here, there's another tool that I would like to share with you. And as you see, and there are 3 circles as you see here, and those are kind of lenses that we can look through as we are defining our unique value proposition. So the first one is, what is it that the clients and organizations want or need? So identifying the need state. And then also identifying where is it that my brand might be, might be doing well. And also where is it that my other colleagues might be doing well. So really kind of grouping these insights under these kind of circles, and then it creates 4 different zones. And if I am to start off with the question mark zone, which is the risky zone, this is where we are kind of competing against our colleagues, given that we have the same offering and we take the same positioning, and most likely our backgrounds are the same, our education is the same, credentials are the same. We're in the same pot. So there is no clear differentiation here or differentiator here. In order for us to win here, we need to create an emotional bond with our clients and come up with some innovative and superior executional ideas. Otherwise, it will be hard for us to stand out. If we are to focus on the losing zone, I think it's clear this is where our offerings or our specialty, our expertise is quite different than other colleagues or majority of our colleagues. But some of us still target those areas due to some concerns, business concerns, revenue concerns, and so on and so forth. It's hard to win there. Often we will lose there, and it will be waste of efforts the investment and the efforts and the time that we put in often gets wasted. The who cares zone, I mean, we might be good in something, yet if there is no need state for that in the market, again, efforts that we put in might be wasted. There are so many brands create need states in their target audience minds, but this is a very long process and it requires lots of studies to be able to create a need state that doesn't exist at the moment. It's a process, it's a hard work, and perhaps we may like to initially use our time and efforts wisely. And then the winning zone is where we where our best features meet our clients' needs. And this is where we need to stand tall and be louder in a way when we are engaging with our potential clients. So please, again, feel free to take a screenshot of this slide, because what we are moving into next is an opportunity for self-reflection. To make the best use of time, I was in a hurry in a way. So maybe it's time to slow down and take a deep breath in and help our minds to process everything that we learned or revisited so far. And I put together a list of questions for you, just so you can start crafting or redefining or updating your brand. And this this is all about, as you notice, it's about you, your why, and then leading to your how. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to put up a nice music, relaxing music too. So just go into your bubble, your safe space, and slow down and reflect on questions. Eva, right? Eva or Eva? Do I pronounce your name well?
Yes, Eva. I was just wondering, sorry, I'm interrupting now the next sequence, but I was wondering the examples from the previous one. Like when you say, do where you're the best, what your clients like the most. Can you give an example?
Sure. So you mean the focus area, right? Where you're
Yes.
at your best. So what do you need to focus on? So let's say if it's life coaching, let's say, and it's a big, massive space, right? Life coaching encompasses so many things. And is it about spiritual growth? Is it about what we are offering best is about narrative coaching? Is it about somatic coaching and so forth? Really understanding where we are at our best and what is needed in the market as well, and then targeting those who might be interested in that. So many of us work creatively, so and create understanding and awareness by using their creative strength as well. So maybe that's a creative process that we create for others. Does it answer your question?
Well, yeah, I was just hoping for some examples, like for example, you or some other coaches, how does it mean what clients need? It changes so often. So how do we kind of find something that is really that is sustainable?
Sure. I mean, in my case, if I'm to give an example from my own story, my brand name is Unlock Potentials, and it comes out of a study. And because when I noticed in my own story and my potential client story, I came to an understanding that often people are challenged to unlock their potential due to various reasons. And there's this inner dialogue or chat that we have. And if I'm to give an example from Tim Galway, the inner game, the potential is there, the performance equals to potential minus interference. And from my perspective, what I focus on in my business is the interference often. And it's a clear differentiation for me. And clients who work with me also understands that this is my focus area. So I came into this business by having this clear understanding and focus area, and then started building my expertise around that. And the years, as the years go by and pass by, my business started growing and growing, and I became a more experienced coach. Then I started mentor coaching and offer supervision, and became a faculty member of a coaching school. And still, I work on the same. So helping others unlocking their potential in my own unique way. I hope that this answers your question. Matthew, I see your hand, and we will come back to you if that's okay for you. I don't have any intention to marginalize any voices in the room, so don't get me wrong. But also, I would like to invite our participants into this reflective process. So as we do that, we will come, after we do that, we will come to you, or we will answer your question, Matthew, if that's okay, during the Q&A. So I posted the questions on the chat, and let's pause for 5 to 6 minutes to reflect on these questions, if that's okay for you. And I will put a nice music on as well. So this is your time, your space to slow down and reflect. So wherever you are, it's a good place to pause and reconnect and continue our conversation. Thank you. But before we move forward, is there anything that showed up for you that is new, a new insight, a new understanding? Just revisiting what you already knew that you are ready to fully embrace as well. Just clarity and understanding and a learning, new learning perhaps.
There's some lovely comments in the chat, Ebru. Helen says, wow, that was so impactful, unlocked a lot there. Great insight into how I am different. And Andrea said, some are easy and flowed, others need to observe and consider.
Yeah, about archetypes as well. It's a unique aspect that you can lose. It's good to reflect on. Difficult to know what people come to me for. Usually we know more why they stay. Beautiful comment, Noor. I realize there are some things I have not thought about, and I must now, what is it? This icon card. Find out, yeah. Thank you. I realize there are some, yeah. A new understanding of a goal for me is to help people find meaning rather than just achieve objectives and goals. I mean, reading your messages is quite fulfilling. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. So, are we ready to continue? One of the things that I'm really not good about or good at is time management. And I'm noticing that I'm getting challenged by that. But I will trust and I will continue trusting the process, and I know that we will get there within the given time. This is a phrase that I love so much personally, LMark, in an appropriate way, of course. So LMark in a way equals to high love in branding. In the world of branding equals to high love and high respect for the brand. So it refers to a brand with a deep emotional connection with its customers or clients in our case. And it goes beyond customer satisfaction and loyalty and inspires passion and devotion in its customers. And LMarks also refer to the ability of a brand to attract and fall in love with its target audience. I mean, I just want to, underline that, attract and fall in love with its target audience. It's so important. And sometimes we so get carried away, and we may know, yet not fully embrace our purpose in this business. Remember why we do why we do what we do, and remembering that we need to continue loving our clients and continue coming from our heart. So that I believe that also makes a difference when we are engaging with our clients and potential clients. So in other words, also it's about creating brand image to hook the consumer and build loyalty through techniques that touch their emotional side. And in the beginning, we said that it's not only about the facts, it's not only about our credentials and these list of certificates and diplomas that we collected in this journey. How are we connecting with them? How are we building rapport? How are we building trust with them? And that it's a vulnerable place to be in coaching for us and for our clients, as you may agree. And it's already hard to pause and reflect in where we need to grow further, and opening up to a stranger becomes harder from our clients' perspectives. So if the emotional connection is not there, if they are not connecting with our brand attributes, which means who we are, most likely they may go to another coach where they feel connected to. So the LMarks make a big difference. And visibility makes a big difference as well. So how often we get to be seen, whether or not our names are known in this field, whether or not we are top of mind makes a difference. But what also makes a difference is that what part of you that you want to make public to others. So beyond your competencies and beyond your skill sets and credentials, what is it in your story that you want to make public to others? Because that also creates that emotional bond with our clients. And most likely they may find something that is unique and interesting in your story that will strike a chord within them. And that leads to consideration as well. So channel strategy, this is where perhaps also we are fully navigating our way towards doing. We talk about the being and so, but now it's time to roll up our sleeves and see what we can do in order to create a clear channel strategy. In other words, perhaps touch point strategy as we use in marketing. So I try to capture some of these touch points from social media to, groups and your websites, visibility from SEO, search engine optimization, to search engine marketing, being proactive, writing blogs, writing articles, giving interviews, volunteering, and doing pro bono work. There are so many things. And so here, what we would like to invite you into is a pair activity. So perhaps we can have about a 15 minutes pair activity, and we will give you a signal when it's around 7.5 minutes for you to swap. So our invitation to you is to really support each other as you're doing so. And I'm going to post this list of questions. I put together a list of questions. These are just simple and guiding questions as a conversation started for you. You may like to use your coaching skills, but please don't coach each other because we don't have permission to coach each other in this space. but please use your coaching skills just to elicit some insights and create some learning opportunity. Okay, excellent. Off you go. Enjoy your conversations and enjoy getting to know each other and supporting each other. So I see that you're popping on our screen like colorful and flavorful popcorns. So welcome back. And I'm quickly moving forward. I hope that you enjoyed your discussions. I know that it was quite brief and short, and I was cracking a joke when you were in the room that it most likely it feels like speed dating. Like in 15 minutes, you need to cover, you need to get to know each other, go deeper, and so on and so forth. But you have the slides so that you can also continue reflecting on that, these touch points on your own time. So, I mean, key ingredients to person branding. This is kind of a summary of what we already talked about. And you can tell an OCD person from the number of C's here as well. So it all starts with credibility, competency, communication, effective communication, ongoing communication, confidence, believing in ourselves, believing in our clients, believing in what we offer, and believing in our field as well. Consistency and charisma. If I could replace charisma with a word that starts with A, most likely it will be authenticity. So the truthfulness of you, how authentic you are, knowing ourselves, who you are, be you are, and do who you are in a way, and creativity. And so networking is very important. And I mean, we're going to have an opportunity for networking at the end of today's session. So my invitation to you, it's only an invitation, just to join those rooms. And often we are not visible enough, as we said, and without collaborating with others, without having those support systems. And now across the world, it's hard to survive in this business. But also, it's good to remember that we need to have people in our network who can praise for us, give us honest feedback, and challenge us, our thinking, and at the same time, give us the emotional support as well. What helped me in this journey is also, continuously, in a way, working with mentors and supervisors. And they kept me on track besides my colleagues. So having a mentor makes a big difference as well. And becoming visible and having also people who can highly speak for you and make things happen for you. I mean, in the beginning, as you remember, I mentioned networks and being in circles. So your circle of friends, your circles, colleagues, can support you in your growth journey as well. And this is another slide that I have about a networking tree. I mean, these are just some of the, again, ideas that I put together. So who can be part of our networking tree? Of course, the business associations or the clubs that we are part of. The LinkedIn is a great place to build networks, and so many of us are so inactive on LinkedIn. It's a great platform for us to be visible and create a clear brand for ourselves. Our current colleagues are part of our networking tree, our ex-colleagues, managers, I don't know if you're actively taking participations in coaching practice groups. If not, I will highly recommend you to be part of them, because you will be able to encounter with different coaches, and at the same time, perhaps explore collaboration opportunities as well. Alumni, coaching training schools, coaching accreditation bodies, forums and conferences that you participate in, your family, your friends, and their circles. They're part of your target audience as well, and having social hobbies and being part of hobby groups as well. So these are also ways for you to connect with others and constantly communicate your brand. So, I mean, here we just came back from from a peer activity. So I just want to check in, because we may try and go into the breakout rooms again. That was my original plan, so I'm spot contracting with you now. And if you like, we can send you again for 10 minutes into breakout rooms for you to support each other in how to, exploring how you can get the best out of your networking tree. If not, then I will continue. Can I see the hands that, do you want to go to the breakout rooms or not?
I can see some thumbs up here, Ebru.
Okay, excellent. So let's go to the breakout rooms for 10 minutes. I have a list of questions for you again that I prepared, just as a conversation starter. And I am going to post them into the chat. Let's check in. Let's pause and check in. What showed up for you in this round? In your, pair groups, in the breakout rooms? Any new insights about where you need to stretch yourself, where you need to step out of your comfort zones? And so, who would like to offer their own experience?
I'm not going to put my hand up this time because I tried 2 times before and it didn't work. So I just thought I'd say.
You're right, Matthew. It's
I think what popped up for me right up the top of the list is find your own true values and let them guide you. Find out who you are, what you do, the value that you can bring, and do not just copy other people. You can take inspiration from what other successful people have done, but find your own route. Don't be an imitator, because if you try and imitate somebody, or maybe imitate a package and offer that to your customer, and then when you go in and it becomes apparent that that's not really what you're the expert at all, that could get you in real trouble. So that's what popped up for me. Just know your own self, and your USP is you. There's only one of you. They're not going to make any more. So that's my input. I'll stop talking now, because Irish people, they'll never stop.
Thanks, Matthew. It's not an excuse of not offering you the space for you to voice out your thoughts earlier, but it seems like there was a reason why you're talking now, because you're dropping your wisdom keys in a way, and it's a great summary of what we already talked about. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts or experience? Okay, let's see. We spoke about the importance of being intentional about networking and making new connections, and asking ourselves, why are we connecting? Beautiful. And how we prefer to have reciprocal relational connections rather than transactional ones. And as you were in the room, we were also talking about here transactional relationships. And thank you, Gia. When you're thanking me using a Turkish phrase, I really appreciate that, but it was a direct message that I just noticed now. Margaret, you wanted to say something? And Elizabeth,
well, just to add to Matthew, I guess something that came up for me as Matthew was speaking, and tying it back to some of the themes that were in the chat earlier about how do you actually know yourself. We're very good at helping other people to understand themselves, but perhaps it's more of a challenge to understand ourselves. So an exercise that I was invited to do some years ago really had a profound impact on me that I wanted to share with the group. And that was a very good coach actually suggested that I ask 10 people who knew me well, but from different backgrounds, to describe me in one word. They could only use one word to sum me up in their eyes. And I asked 10 people, work colleagues, families, friends, if you had to describe me in one word, what would that be? And it was enlightening to have reflected back how other people saw me. And of course, it invited deeper conversation, but it actually helped me to really see my own uniqueness through other people's eyes. So it's just a suggestion for people.
Amazing, amazing suggestion, and thanks for sharing that. That makes me remember one of the exercises that we do. I can't share it with you because the intellectual property doesn't belong to me. It's called reflective best self exercise. I do some work for business schools, and what we do is that we invite our participants to reach out to some of their connections, and then ask them to write stories about them, 1 or 2 paragraphs, and but this story is often focused on the impact that you create in their lives. And it's so touching, and it kind of holds a mirror up to people that, the blind spots and so that we are not well aware of, or we might be aware of it, but maybe not fully embracing them. So it's a great opportunity. Lastly, Elizabeth, thank you, Margaret. Elizabeth, you wanted to share something before we move forward.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to share that it just emphasizes for me again something that I notice with us people like coaches or consultants, because we do our work because we want to help people with and we have a lot of passion and knowledge and skills, but there's the business mindset part of it is very separate. Being able to run a business is very different from maybe doing a great training or really supporting people as coaches. And I think some of us might underestimate the importance of actually really intentionally putting in the time, investing in money, really hiring people who can support you in the setting up the business side of things. And of course, this information is very useful and you can think about it, but I've done myself quite some steps to improve my business side of things, and I couldn't have done it just by myself. So you can understand something theoretically, but it's just to encourage my colleagues to actually hire people who can help you to work out some of these things in a professional way. And it costs maybe time and money, but it will save you also a lot of stress and lost opportunities. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. And you took me back also with this sharing to the beginning of our conversation, that we come to the space with a call, but not necessarily having a strong understanding that it's a business, and it requires some business acumen kind of skills as well. And yes, it sounds like it feels like a lonely business, but yet we are not alone. So if we are to create that right support system around ourselves, if we are to work with more experienced people who are ahead of the curve, and they can also guide us. And again, it comes down to being intentional, being strategic, and taking the right steps forward. Thanks for sharing that, Elizabeth. On that note, what is next? What is next is the last slide of today's workshop. It's not only building and feeding our network, but also building our strong coaching business requires desire, belief, and ability, and also stepping out of our comfort zones and taking actions towards that. And that brings us to the end of our session. And on that note, I'm noticing, Nicole, that we have more limited time now for networking.
We do, but this has been such a really, I mean, I'm looking around my screen here and got the privilege of having a really big screen, so I can see lots of you really, really close up. And I can see everybody's like hanging on the conversation here. So I think it's been really, really brilliant, to be honest, to be able to extend into the networking time. We do have 15 minutes, well, just over 10 minutes for networking left, which has been great. But Ebru, before we move into networking, I just want to thank you so much for leading this conversation and just for sharing with us all these different tools and techniques and challenging our mindsets as well. I think that it's I mean, personal brand and marketing and finding clients is one of those areas which is, you know, always, you know, if not front of mind, certainly, you know, towards the middle of mind here for a lot of people. So the conversation today, I think, has been really eye-opening, and looking at things from different perspectives has been really, really great. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
I'd ask you as well, is I mean, I know at the beginning you were thinking, oh my goodness, these people, but how has it been for you? How has this dialogue been for you? What are you taking from it?
It was smooth, and I really appreciate everyone else's presence. And one of the things I think that I developed as a skill is also observing the space and trying to read the field, the energetic field. And I also spotted that, you know, people were leaning in, staying focused, sometimes frowning, trying to figure things out. That shows kind of an interest level, and that's what I was hoping for. And I hope that it created some, you know, form of awareness, and it added some, you know, value into your business and business positioning. And I really look forward to reconnecting with you on another day in this space, in another engagement. And I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ebru. Thank you.